Today I am going to be talking all about chronic pain and the effects it has on our mental health. Right now I'm standing in my backyard. A gust of wind is coming through and it feels so good. Like our senses are what make us feel alive. And I am so incredibly thankful. If you haven't already watched my story, I'll link my journey below. Long story short, I am a physical therapist and I injured my neck back in 2013. I've had a very difficult time bouncing back. Mental health is so incredibly important. I think a lot of people avoid addressing it because oftentimes it's seen as a weakness, and that's really sad and really unfortunate, and that doesn't help anybody. First of all, being in pain alone really sucks. It automatically affects our health right off the bat when we get an injury. We're unable to make plans for our future or even daily plans. It makes it very difficult to even set goals. We easily become overwhelmed. It fatigues us of our energy very easily with the pain and the inability to make plans. It automatically leads to hopelessness, especially if you've been in chronic pain for years like I have. You start to think that you're never going to be normal again and that this is your permanent life. Being stuck like this at such a young age with no way of getting out of it or knowing if your life will ever get better, and to have the rest of your life to live in this pain and not knowing if it's just going to continue to get worse, is a really, really scary journey. When you're in chronic pain and you're limited, all of your daily activities are limited by severe pain. You no longer can participate in social activities. You slowly start losing your friends over the years and become extremely isolated. Further, you start to become very mentally lonely. You realize that nobody understands what you're going through. On a much brighter note, today I'm going to be talking about how to cope with these mental health problems when you are socially isolated from physical chronic pain for years. Number one, you're going to want to find some modalities that help you to decrease your pain. And if you need any suggestions, I'll link my last video below, because my previous video explained all my modalities that I have found that truly help me physically and mentally. Number two, instead of setting goals or plans for next week, next month, or next year when you have no idea how you're going to be feeling, I suggest setting one minimal daily task, whether that be making your bed, getting out of bed. For some of us, that might be a task in and of itself. Taking a shower, calling a friend, doing one errand like paying a bill. Setting this one simple goal will give us a sense of accomplishment if we can just set one goal. Anything we do above and beyond that is extra sense of accomplishment. You get me? Number three, if you're a believer in God, this makes it a lot easier. And if you're not, you might find yourself believing in God once you get into this situation, because you have no other hope. You are completely stuck. You have no strength. You are completely helpless. You have nothing else left but to rely and lean on God for your strength. So, in my deepest, darkest times, when I was completely just lost and distraught and depressed and overwhelmed mentally and physically, being in a ton amount of pain, I started realizing, instead of saying, "Why me?" I started praying and asking God to teach me. God allows us to go through things to develop us and to teach us something. So if you start asking God to teach you, you might start hearing and learning and listening and getting ideas of why you might be going through the situation, what the suffering can do to help someone else. What are you learning in these times of desperation? I guess it's worth mentioning at this time that I try to do a daily routine. Normally it's just take a shower, put makeup on, get dressed, have coffee, and then I read my daily devotions. and I got these at Costco, and I really love these. So I would recommend getting a devotional. They take about 1 minute each, and just filling your spirit and soul and satisfying it, because I feel like we do long for something to fulfill us, and it's very fulfilling to read God's word. Now, number 4, in order to combat that isolation that we go through when we can't make plans and we're stuck in the house all the time, I highly, highly, highly recommend going outside daily, even if it's to breathe in fresh air for 5 minutes and soak in some sunshine and some vitamin D. I think that makes a huge difference on mental health. I would spend weeks at a time indoors, and when I did get that bout of fresh air and sunshine, I felt human again. Lastly, and definitely not least, it's probably the most important, is find a support group. So I remember feeling extremely at a low point, at a very, 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 very low point, and feeling so alone, so isolated. Like, I'm pretty sure I was having mental breakdowns, and I remember wanting to check myself into ER, but not wanting to have to pay the bill, because I literally did not know what to do with myself, where to turn, how to get help. I was as hopeless as I could get. Like, I had no one that understood. So I highly recommend a support group. I started slowly reaching out and telling family how bad my situation really was and how I was mentally not okay anymore. I remember calling around to find a counselor. I needed one desperately, like an emergency counselor, and I didn't find that. I had to wait weeks to get in with one, which was very difficult. I started going to a mom group, which really helped just to have a connection of other people that related to me, even if it wasn't my chronic pain, just to talk about motherhood and understand the difficulties of motherhood, just to connect with people. I started developing my YouTube channel. I started reaching out to people with chronic pain or chronic illnesses or disabilities because I felt like they could relate to me. I started networking through social media, and I found groups online. There's actually Facebook groups that you can join for specific illnesses. So I was in a really scary place not long ago, and today I can honestly say this is the happiest I've ever been, and I never thought I would say that, especially after my neck injury. I thought my best years were already lived and they were over, and the rest of my life I would have to live in misery and just be strong and just learn how to cope. But I can honestly say this is the happiest I've ever been, and I had to make some drastic changes. And I hope that you can find the strength to do the same, to know that you're worth it, to know that your life is worth it. And no matter what it takes, you have to find the worth within yourself, number one. And then I hope that these coping mechanisms really help you as much as they helped me. I took such drastic measures that I literally moved 8 hours away from my family. And I thought that would be difficult, but it's actually been for the better. I have more space. My kids have more space. We have a yard. We can get outside now. Before, we were trapped inside the house. We rarely got out. Like, sometimes we would go days or even a week without getting fresh air. I've had several medical treatments, including flying all the way to Florida to get prolotherapy by a doctor that I thought for sure would be able to help me. And before, I felt guilty. I didn't think I was worth that money or that time away from my family to go get that medical treatment. But I started finding my worth, and I started realizing if I don't get help and I don't change, then I will be worthless to them. And if I want to be worth something to them, then I need to take care of myself. And that's where my self-care journey actually started, and everything started turning around for me. I went from being homebound and almost bedbound to I just walked 3 miles on my treadmill last night. So things are definitely looking up, and I really hope and pray that this message touches somebody and that they're able to get their life back like I did. My kids just got back from their hot tub. How was it, guys?
Good.
What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for Jesus.
Thankful for Jesus. Yes.
And my yogurt.
And your yogurt. What about you, Ruby?
I'm thankful for my mommy. I'm thankful for my neck. I'm thankful for my
She's thankful for my neck and for everybody. So there you have it. Your bonus coping skill is to be thankful. I suggest thinking of 5 things, no matter how small, each day that you're thankful for, whether it be your house, your bed, your food, running water, warm, comfortable temperatures. I mean, we have so many things to be thankful for. So try to focus and come up with at least 5 things you're thankful for each and every day. Thanks again for watching, and I really hope you guys know how much you mean to me and encourage me when you reach out and comment and share your journey with me as well. So thank you, and please let me know if there's anything you want me to address, if you have any questions or any topics that you want to see me talk about. I do plan on doing some Pilates stretches and exercises in the near future because that is something that has actually really helped me get stronger as well.